The day has finally come. The Netflix MVP MMA card is this weekend. And I will say, this card started off with a ton of buzz around it, about a month and a half ago. But honestly, I haven't had a single person since this card's been announced ask me about this card. And I really thought that this would get casual fans going crazy because you have Ronda Rousey, you have Nate Diaz, you have Francis Ngannou, Gina Carano, who a lot of new MMA fans might not know, but people who watch movies and like the entertainment industry, I thought a lot more people would know her, and they still might, but yeah, this card just really has not gotten the level of talk that I thought it would get, at least leading up to it. We'll see what the numbers do and how well it does viewing wise. But again, I thought a lot more buzz would be around this card. And I just want to do a breakdown of the card itself, give some predictions. I haven't made a single video about the MVP card. I guess that says something as well. But let's get into this. Let me see. Let me pull up this card for you guys. Okay. Main event, Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. We know Ronda Rousey has not fought in 10 years since 2016. Or was it 2017? I believe it was 2016 was the Amanda Nunes fight. She has completely left MMA since then, went on to WWE and wrestling. Has done, movies, TV shows, blah, 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 whatever. And then you have Gina Carano, who Gina Carano has not fought since I was 7 years old. I'm 23. Gina Carano fought in 2009. That was her last fight. Now, for those of you that don't know about Gina Carano and you only know her from like The Mandalorian and the Disney drama and her getting canceled and all that bullshit, Gina Carano is an MMA, I'm not going to say legend, but pioneer. She was a part of the first ever televised women's MMA main event against Chris Cyborg, where Cyborg brutalized her and then Gina never fought again. But Gina was kind of like the Ronda Rousey before Ronda Rousey. Like, attractive girl who also could fight, that fans got behind, because this is all the way back in the, I would say like the 2006 to 2009 range, where MMA was still super small, let alone women's MMA. So Gina is a trailblazer and a pioneer for sure. And Ronda gives her a lot of credit for the career Ronda was able to have, setting a little bit of a path before her. But make no mistake, Gina was not at least by today's standards, not a good MMA fighter. She had solid Muay Thai, and that was it. She had like good striking. By today's standards, Gina wouldn't, maybe she'd be top 15, at 135. She fought her career at 145, but obviously the UFC doesn't have a 145 pound division anymore. Yeah, by today's standards, Gina would not be very good. But we've also seen Ronda's limitations as well as MMA evolved with her striking. As soon as someone with elite level striking in women's MMA was able to nullify her judo, nullify her clinch, and just had way better striking than her, Ronda couldn't do shit either. So this is a striker versus grappler matchup. Ronda is the more well-rounded fighter, but this fight is either going to be Gina knocking out Ronda somehow or Ronda tossing Gina on her head and getting an armbar. It's going to be a throwback. Do not expect elite level MMA by any stretch of the imagination. Like I said, this will probably be Ronda throwing Gina on her head and armbarring her in a minute. I would love for Gina to win. I don't hate Ronda or anything, but I like Gina and Ronda. I loved watching Ronda when she was on her run, but the way she left the sport and kind of just shit on it, I don't know. I'm not like the biggest Ronda fan. It'll be fun either way, but that just to lay the foundation for you guys of what this fight is. Don't expect elite level MMA by any stretch. Gina has not fought in 17 years. Ronda has not fought in 10 years. Gina was, pretty out of shape before this got announced. She went through a lot, getting canceled by Disney and losing her acting career and, everything like that. But yeah, that's the story of the main event. It'll be fun. That is not my most anticipated fight on this card by any stretch. That co-main event, Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins. Felipe Lins has won the PFL $1 million tournament, I believe twice, maybe once, but I want to say twice. He's a solid heavyweight. He fought in the UFC as a light heavyweight. He left the UFC on a win streak. He hasn't been in the UFC in, I want to say, at least like 4 years. And he went on to have really good success in PFL. He's a really good fighter, but he's a small heavyweight, and he never reached, the level Francis got to. Not even close. And this will probably be Francis obliterating him in a round, which is also very fun. Like, this card does have some high level entertainment on it. When I say high level entertainment, I don't mean high level MMA. I mean like very fun entertainment. Like, who doesn't want to see Francis knock someone out? I do, especially because we don't get to see Francis fight very often. I still think he has a lot left to give MMA if he wants to. It's just being in the UFC or not being in the UFC, there's not a lot of heavyweights out there who you can give to Francis that move the needle in any type of way. A lot of the fights he can get is just going to be him obliterating somebody, which that's what they're doing most likely. It's MMA. Anyone has a shot. Philippe Lins is more of a grappler. He has, decent striking, but he definitely is a pretty good grappler. And if he had it his way, he'd probably like to take Francis down. But I just don't see this going any other way than Francis annihilating him in probably the first round. Yeah, you see the size difference there. I mean, he's not going to be 206 when he fights. I would imagine he'll probably be like 230, 235. But Francis is definitely going to be like 260, 265 at the heavyweight limit. Francis is just such a bigger guy. Philippe won the PFL tournaments at heavyweight, but he's able to do that because PFL did not have, they don't have a great heavyweight division, and he's just a lot more skilled than those guys. But again, fun ass fight. Like, Francis Ngannou going out there and probably starching someone is super fun. And I would think casual fans would get to talking about it. Now, this is the one that's surprising me the most. I get people not caring about Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano, even if they know it's happening. But people love Nate Diaz. And I've had friends be like, oh, Nate's fighting. Like, oh, we know Mike Perry a little bit. He's done the bare knuckle shit and he fought Jake Paul. Like, I've heard people talk about it. But again, not for weeks. Like, no one has been bringing this up. I forgot that it was this weekend. Well, I haven't made a damn video yet. And I just remembered that it's on tomorrow. But this fight is my most anticipated fight on the card. Because, yes, Nate is like 41, maybe 42. But it's Nate at the end of the day. Nate is always fun. His style does not rely on athleticism like that. So he can go out there and throw hella punches if he wants and throw up some submission attempts, get in the clinch, dirty box. Like, Nate's style is, like I said, not reliant on athleticism. So even in his later years, he can still put on a good fight. And then you have Mike Perry, who Mike Perry is, I want to say like 34. He's a lot younger. Never reached the level in MMA that Nate did. Nate's record's very deceptive. Nate did fight for the belt at one point. He fought Benson Henderson for the title. So Nate was an elite fighter at a certain point, and he has wins over very good guys and losses to very good guys. That 21-13 does not tell the full story of Nate Diaz, in my opinion. And Mike Perry has some solid wins in MMA as well. This to me is really going to be about what does Nate have left? Is Nate still able to take the damage that I think Mike Perry might be able to bring to him? Mike Perry is a very aggressive forward fighter who is going to get in your face, and it's going to be dirty. It's going to be elbows, punches, knees, a very basic style, but very aggressive, very violent, as we've seen in his bare knuckle fights. Now, the other story, Mike Perry has not fought in MMA in like 4 years now. Ever since he went to bare knuckle, it's been straight boxing and bare knuckle. So I could see a scenario of Nate trying to get this to the ground. He is a lot more high level on the ground than Mike Perry. This will be a very interesting fight. It is not about who's the best welterweight in the world, but you have a very solid MMA fighter and fighter in general, and Mike Perry, who's a lot younger than Nate, who has been doing his thing outside of the UFC in bare knuckle and has gotten a lot more famous due to that. And he's fighting a 41-year-old Nate Diaz, who also hasn't fought in MMA since 2021. So, or 2022, when he fought Tony Ferguson. So, I think this is a great matchup because you have two guys who have not fought in MMA in a while. And Mike is a young, durable guy who I don't know if Nate's going to be able to just run over. It's not some old guy like Tony Ferguson. This is someone who Mike is still in his physical prime. It'll be very fun and very interesting. Now, this is a hardcore's delight if you are a hardcore fan. Saladin Parnasse versus Kenny Cross. Kenny Cross, very, very good prospect, but Saladin Parnasse, I believe he's from France. He's one of the most highly touted prospects in MMA right now. Super fun, flashy style. 22-2 record. I have not seen very many of his fights, but from what I know of him, people love him because of the way he fights. And with a record like that, it's actually surprising he's not signed to one of these major organizations. But he is a pretty big favorite over Kenny Cross from what I've seen. But if you're looking for elite level MMA on this card, this is the fight you're going to want to go to. That's what I mean. This card has something for everybody. Then we go under that. You have JDS and Robelas de Spain. This will be, I think, a fight mainly fought on the feet. You have an old, grizzled vet in JDS against Robelas de Spain, who's been doing his thing in karate combat since leaving the UFC. Just another heavyweight striking fest is what I think it'll be. Fun fight with some name value. You have something for all fans on this card, in some ways. Adriano Moraes versus, I just found out who he is, Fumi Nakuda, I believe is how you say it. This was supposed to be Muhammad Mukayev, but his visa couldn't get approved to come fight. That was my favorite fight on the card. Adriano Moraes fought Mighty Mouse 3 times. Finished Mighty Mouse, and then Mighty Mouse came back and finished him and then won a decision over him. But Adriano Moraes was an elite, flyweight, bantamweight, over and won championship. He's older now, and that Mukayev fight would have been sick. But this is still a very good fight. And from what I know about Nakuda, he's 11-0, so he's a really good prospect. And this was like the best replacement they could get. So again, this is high level MMA for a hardcore fan on here as well. Jason Jackson. Now, I know I've been hyping up Yaroslav Amosov a lot. We've seen him fight twice in the UFC now. He just obliterated Joel Alvarez on UFC 328. Jason Jackson is that one loss on Yaroslav Amosov's record. Finished Yaroslav Amosov with strikes to win the belt against him back in Bellator. Jason Jackson is a super, super talented welterweight who's just not very well known because his career has been in Bellator and PFL. But he is a guy who, in my opinion, is UFC caliber at least. That welterweight division is stacked, but I think he could be a top 15 guy there. Jefferson Creighton, I don't know much about him, but Jason Jackson is another very, very, very good high-level MMA fighter. He's a little bit older. I want to say he's like 35 now, but he still has a lot left in the tank, and he is very good. That is a fight to watch as well. That's what this card has, names on it that for the hardcore fans, like if you watch, you know these guys. I think that was originally supposed to be Lorenz Larkin on there against Jason Jackson. I don't know what happened to that, but there is some on here that I really don't know. But again, a guy who's 19-10 versus a guy who's 8-1, that looks like a very solid fight. Eileen Pereira, Alex Pereira's sister, another, somewhat recognizable name. People will know. Chris Avila, Nate Diaz's boy. He's known for being Nate Diaz's boy. Yeah, not covering that. But this card has something for everybody. I feel like this card does need to get a little more credit for what it has on it. Like, especially, look, not good MMA. Very good name value. Like Ronda Rousey is the second most famous MMA fighter of all time behind Conor McGregor. Francis Ngannou, still technically the heavyweight champion of the UFC. He never lost his belt. Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. Need I say any more? Saladin Parnasse versus Kenny Cross. Hardcore fan delight. Sick fight. Dos Santos, something for the old UFC fans to be like, oh shit, JDS, the former heavyweight champions, fighting this giant Cuban karate guy on the card. That's pretty sick. Let me watch that. Adriano Moraes, another hardcore fan's delight. We all know Adriano Moraes from one championship. Jason Jackson, hardcore fan. If you watch Bellator and PFL, you know Jason Jackson and you know how good he is. This fight has stuff on it. It's very surprising to me that it just does not get, it hasn't been getting the talk that I would have thought it would get. We'll see how the numbers do, obviously. I know Ronda's really been the only one promoting it. Nate and Mike, there's no beef there, so they're just kind of showing up to the press conference and doing their thing. No trash talk, really. Gina is, she's older. She hasn't fought in 17 years. I think she's really just been trying to get in shape and not do any media. So maybe that's why it's lacking some buzz, is just the only person who's really been going out and doing interviews is Ronda. Francis really hasn't been doing much promotion either. I think Jake Paul hasn't been talking about it enough either, to be honest, because he is the head of MVP. Like, he could be promoting it more. It's going to do very well. It's on Netflix. Netflix has, 300-400 million subscribers. So you're going to turn on Netflix and see, oh shit, Ronda Rousey is fighting tonight. There's going to be a lot of people clicking on it that probably don't even know that the fight is happening tomorrow night. But let me give you my official picks and then we'll wrap this up. Main event, Ronda Rousey. I would love for Gina to win. I just don't think it's going to happen. Ronda Rousey, first round finish, submission, probably under a minute. Francis Ngannou, first round knockout. Nate Diaz and Mike Perry. This one I'm a little torn on. My gut instinct was to go to Mike Perry, and then I saw that Nate was the favorite, and I was like, why is Nate the favorite? Then I was like, okay, Mike hasn't fought in a long time. His grappling, he hasn't fought in MMA in a long time. Neither has Nate, but Mike's grappling, at some points it's been good, at other points it's been not great. I could see Nate wanting to take this to the ground, possibly, and submit Mike. I think I'm gonna take Nate. And I like that it's 5-minute rounds too. I like that a lot. I think I'm gonna take Nate by finish. I'm not gonna take Nate by decision. I'm not gonna pick him by a TKO or submission because I don't know. I could see Mike getting tired, not really wanting to do MMA. He just wants to strike. And I could see Nate finding a finish in the later rounds, like third, fourth, fifth round. I'm going to take Nate. I think Nate is still the favorite. I think he should be the dog personally, but I'm going to take Nate. Saladin Parnasse and Kenny Cross. I'm going to take Saladin Parnasse. I think he will get a finish. Kenny Cross is very good, and I think will be very good for years to come and will end up in a bigger promotion, but I don't know a lot about either of them. I just know how hyped up Saladin Parnasse is, and I've seen some of his finishes. I'm going to take Saladin Parnasse. Unfortunately, I'm going to take Robelis de Spain. I think JDS, the chin is gone. Could he knock out Robelis de Spain? Yeah. Could he maybe find a way to get us to the ground? That'd be the smartest thing for him to do if he watched Robelis' UFC fights. But I think Robelis is just so fucking big. Look at his reach. 84 inches. I think he'll find some looping shot on JDS and probably TKO him. I will take Adriano Moraes. Again, I don't know much about Fumi Nakuda, but Adriano Moraes, super solid vet. He's been in there with some of the best guys in the world. Mighty Mouse 3 times. He's older, but I will take him to win. Probably a decision. I'm definitely taking Jason Jackson, and I will take Jason Jackson by finish. That is it. Those are my picks. Let me know what you guys think. Or did you even know this card was happening? Are you surprised that people aren't talking about it as much as they should? Yeah. What's the reasoning that this has not been talked about as much in the last couple weeks as maybe we thought it would? I don't know. But I will be watching. I'll be watching. We all be watching. Let me know. Give me your picks. Let me know who you think is going to win. What you think about the card. I'm really curious to see the production, how it compares to the UFC, because obviously UFC has the best production in the world, live and over the TV. So I'm really curious to see how Netflix, how their production will look for this fight. But that is all I got for you guys. I will see you in the next video.